And we're live.
Well, this is James, and that is Joe over there. This is productivity and procrastination.
We're just a couple of procrastinators looking to get productive.
That's right, we are. We are currently Project Pancake, our
Project
starter
Pancake.
project. Get us going.
And this is episode 17.
I thought it was 19.
Let me double check.
Because we're scripted.
We are
Totally not
script. So this is
off.
episode 18.
Oh, okay. Well, we're somewhere always wrong.
Always
But
wrong.
but if we come in the middle, there we go.
Exactly.
We find a way. Well, so
This is about life. It finds a way.
how's it been, Joe?
There we go. I made it big for you.
Mm,
Whew. It's been a thing. So we got the first page finished, right? Like that's
yeah.
and then a game came out.
Oh, what was that game?
Um I think it was the tie-in movie to the new Barbie or tie-in game to the new Barbie movie. Right?
Is that what you've been playing?
I thought so. What have you been playing?
Oh, some might call it Diablo 4.
Oh, what do you call it?
Diablo 4.
All right, so you're part of the sum then.
You know, it has shown me one thing.
What's that?
That I'm a very weak individual. anything
It's like
anything you've seen lately?
anything I've seen lately.
Mm,
Man. So let's talk about our timeline. You're listening to this, and if you're listening to this on the podcast, which you most likely are, because we're up to 22 followers now. It's incredible. Um, what was that face for? You made a face. You shook his head and made a face.
You'll never know what I was thinking, Joe. I'll
Oh,
never
okay.
tell you.
Honestly, I feel like 22 followers without like I feel like this point is incredible
Mm,
for like no advertising. We've done
he's
zero
trying.
advertising.
He's trying to skip out on talking by talking
Oh,
transitioning.
I'm very proud of our 22 followers. I'm just putting that out there. So if you're listening and you're a follower, I appreciate
Joe appreciates you.
you.
I do too. I just don't. I'm not as nice as him, I guess.
Not as affectionate.
That too. He was singing Disney.
Yeah, you cut
Say
out
it.
there for a minute. Just cut out for me. Like I saw you say the words, but your voice cut out.
Oh, I said you were singing Disney movies all day.
I was. I was
So
Disney songs, yeah. They're stuck in I have a whole company's songs. It's because I was going to call it a genre, but then that is giving them more credibility than I want to.
oh, okay.
Anyways, back to our thing. So we were Diablo 4 came out, so we
Mm-hmm.
skipped that week.
Mm-hmm.
And then we skipped the next week, right?
Yes.
Did we skip another one or was it
Yes.
what? We skipped 3 weeks?
Yes. We did.
Oh my gosh. So we skipped 3 weeks because of Diablo 4. I mean, we woke up and we were playing Diablo 4, so it's not like we were like, oh, we don't want to do anything. Well, we just wanted to do Diablo 4 more.
Yeah, we did.
All right.
And, I needed it because I didn't do anything. So I was like, I need another week. So I wasn't going to say anything. I learned a lot about myself, though.
Yeah, I would like to talk about what you've learned because I've learned a few things too.
Okay. Well, and I have theory I'd like to propose as well,
Okay.
based on what I've discovered about
You have a hypothesis?
myself. So what I observed was, yes, I shamefully video game addicted, but I succeeded in a way the last few days. I told myself, you know what, before I get video, I have to have at least.
You're cutting out quite a bit.
What?
Uh, it's like every other word was cutting out there for a moment.
Hmm. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. So far, nothing. I don't know. It just seems to be a.
Well, let me make sure. Well, it's the only thing I have open. Um. Okay, so I had to have had one day where I just kicked butt.
Mm-hmm.
Where and it was yesterday. I did nothing but work on stuff all day long, and then at like 5 something, I was
Oh, now you're cutting out.
break.
That was like a whole 2
Gosh,
seconds.
what? Okay, maybe.
Hmm.
Do we restart?
No, but we could stop it here and then just splice it together.
Okay, let's do that.
And we're back with
Yeah,
James, and his audio is better now. Woo.
we've time traveled to a point where my technology is
It
working.
was only 10 years.
Yeah, it's relatively okay.
Yeah.
Just a
Looking
decade.
good.
Thanks. I try. Well,
You're not going to say the same about me?
I don't like to lie, Joe. So
All right.
yesterday when I got stuff done, like all day, I tried to play a video game at the end to just kind of like calm down a little bit after, and you couldn't play a game. So I was like, fine, I'll just continue working. So it was like 9 something at night. I finally got done doing everything I was doing outside, and I was pretty happy with myself at the end. I felt like I had a solid day from like the moment I got up to the moment I basically 10 p.m. I mean, I played a game with my family for the last few hours and then I went to bed, but
Nice.
I felt good. And it really, I want to shape myself into somebody who can just work all day,
Mm-hmm.
And I want to, I now know that I'm somebody who needs to get some stuff done before he does anything fun. I need to feel like I can put in a serious day. And what I wanted to talk to you about was the fact that, maybe we should think about working a little bit each day. Even if it's just for an hour,
Yeah.
but just pushing on with our project because, if there's anything it has shown me lately, it's that I just don't feel like enough gets done,
Right.
And I feel like, the consistency is important. And even if it was a small amount of progress each day, it would still be progress each day.
Right.
So,
Honestly, I was thinking something along that same lines too.
mm,
My issue was like, um, without the accountability of these last 3 weeks,
mhm.
I haven't done crap.
Oh, really? Wow. I wouldn't have thought that. I thought you were going to be the one who was on par, and I feel like crap. No,
Nope.
this massive head of hair is shaking no.
It's failed. This hair has failed you, and it's failed me.
Samson, how could you have done this to me?
So let me talk about the last 3 weeks. So Diablo week. I don't know. It's like, so I was still reeling from the finishing of the first page. And whenever I finish the first page, there's this like, and it wasn't a positive feeling when I finished the first page. It was definitely negative. It was definitely a negative feeling. Um just because of like, it felt as though I didn't create the image that I wanted to see, or I don't know. It's I created the image based on other people's feedback and not what I thought. Like, I didn't do the art. I did someone else's art.
Mm,
And so that left a sour taste in my mouth finishing the first page.
mm,
And it's not a direction towards you, because I actually do want your feedback, but it's other people's feedback that I looked for, and I'm working on, instead of making art that I think others will like, I should make art I like and share it.
mm. Yeah, that's important. Um, that's
And then,
unfortunate. I didn't think that was going on.
yeah, so it's just something I've been struggling with, and it's a me thing and something I'm working on, but it's something I do need to work on, especially if I want to be actually become an artist and pump out more than one piece every month, which is just not sustainable as an artist. I need to be doing a lot more pieces, and I'm at the point where I feel comfortable enough, like I could honestly like really start pumping out stuff. I just have to go get through the mental barriers now. Before it was a skill issue, and now I think it's just a more of a mental barrier thing. And so there was that week, and then also during that week, I was gonna get a new drawing tablet, which I was very excited about. A friend was selling their old one. I paid for it, picked it up, and it just it felt like a downgrade. Like, I had a lot of like excitement to like try a new toy, like work with this new tool, and maybe it'll like like help me do this faster, or it'll feel different drawing on a screen than all that. And it was too small. The screen was too small. It felt like I had no room to draw. It felt like it was a downgrade from what I currently using, which is a $50 tablet thing that I just draw, and it looks, this is my $50 Huion, not sponsored yet, tablet that just, it works, and it doesn't, no fuss, no muss. Where the other one, it just felt like it took up a huge chunk of my desk, which was an issue for me. And not only that, but the screen was too small. It didn't spark any joy. It felt like I was forcing myself to use this because I bought it and not because I wanted to. And so I gave it back and got a refund. And so I was a little disappointed in that. And then um my friend ended up graduating from college, and so I went to her graduation, and it I don't know. Part of me wanted to go like to actual college to get like an actual career and profession and all of that direction because I feel like I'm stagnating because I haven't drawn, and it all stems from not drawing because I don't feel like I'm progressing. I don't feel like I'm moving forward, and so I'm like struggling, looking for other avenues of progress when really the biggest progress I could be making is putting this pen to that tablet.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
feel
been
you.
my week. I even like took the time to fill up my FAFSA and all of that stuff too.
My cat, being a cat, wants to go outside, I think.
All right.
Maybe I'll let him. Be right back.
All right. But yeah, it's like it's crazy just trying to figure out where I wanted to go with my life when realistically what I really really want to be doing is right in front of me. Like my end goal is to have a have something where I could be creative and have a sustainable life from it. Like make like I just want to be creative. There's like a gray hair that is driving me bonkers. And so like why would I go ahead and go skip ahead or like put myself farther behind in order to accomplish what I already have in front of me? I was saying that I basically want a job where I can be creative and like have a skill, work on a skill, and make money from it. And that's literally this job, the one that we're working on.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see any reason to go to college for it, even though there's like part of me that just loves to learn. Like I can't imagine working full time, going to college, and also working on this project. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
going full time and going to college itself would be nay impossible because I'd have to go to school full time and college full time until I got. It's just there's a lot. That's a lot for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There you go.
Um.
Well, it's not like you can't test this. We'll know once our project's done how we feel about all this stuff.
Yeah.
And, but you're right. I mean, working for another company, I mean, going through the degree and then getting a job somewhere else where they tell you what to draw
Yeah.
doesn't sound very fun either.
No. Well, in this way, we get to create what we want.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And all the profits thereof would be yours instead of the company's.
Exactly. I'd be paid by the hour there, where this would be paid by my accomplishment.
Yeah.
Which is more rewarding, I think. So in short, yeah, I don't have. It's hard for me to put pen to tablet, so having an hour a day where like that's what I do would be, I think, perfect and incredible.
Yeah, I think that would help both of us out. We have been successful doing the virtual storyboarding together now.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we would just get more practice on that and get more done. And that would encourage you to potentially finish some of these pages when we're not working together.
Well, I mean, even if, and here's what I would honestly like too. We don't always have to be storyboarding. If we were just on a call together, and the idea is that we're working.
Oh, right,
our own
totally.
Things.
You're absolutely right. It doesn't necessarily mean we're only storyboarding. true.
Because if I just had, like, I don't know, there's just like, there's a certain level of camaraderie when you're doing it at the same time.
Mm. The parallels that I discovered over the last little bit working on my yard and my garage and all these things, um, I discovered that it's like when you just pop on a video game or something, you feel good. You know, it's that, you know, the dopamine or whatever it is. Um, but just by doing all the things that I've done lately, you know, putting in my garden, setting up my automatic watering system, you know, completely chopping down my tree finally, with a chainsaw. It's the best invention in the universe, I might add. First time I've ever used a chainsaw in my life. Um, Man, it's so good. Uh, you know, and just burning all the rest of my just garbage branches and things like that. I just feel so like I go out there now and it's like I can see the results. They're longer lasting results. Okay. I have changed my reality. You know, I walk out into my backyard now and there is a visible difference. And I think that that is the key. It's like struggling to get things done for me, and forcing myself to just do things all day long yesterday has just shown me it's like, you know, yes, it's different. It's not like as fun. Okay?
Right.
It really isn't. It's not as fun getting work done. But it is rewarding in its own way, in more of a longer term, more of a sustained manner. And I did enjoy that process, you know, and being more alive, you know, instead of kind of like in my own world in a video game was really nice too. Just from basically like dawn till dusk, you know, I was outside or working on something, and I think I can get used to it. And that's what made me think, okay, well, I need to talk to Joe about just at least getting some work done each day. You know, I'm still not going to do anything on Sundays. I'm going to play all day,
Right.
do whatever. But, you know, I don't see any reason why I couldn't find an hour, you know, after you get off work to, you know, whenever it's convenient for you to plug in that hour.
I mean, realistically, I get off. Well, we can talk about the semantics later.
Yeah. Yeah. We can talk about it later. But, you know, hey, I can do that. And I think that that would help us to spur some production and get this initial project knocked out faster.
Yeah.
And then we can move on to something that we want to do even more, you know? So I'm glad I took the step to do it. I didn't want 3 weeks to have gone by and me just go, oh, I never really did anything. So I feel good about that. Yes, it wasn't like writing all day, but I did have a different writing day. I forgot about that. I did like write. And it was interesting because I kind of figured out how I want to do it.
Okay.
I want to open up Scrivener, and I want to have like multiple novels / short stories / whatever I'm working on, and my journal all in the same file. And you know, as I feel like jumping from one project to another, I'm just going to do it. And
Yeah.
I'm just going to have it all broken down, into that kind of a format where I can just leap in and go nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if I could do that, um, it would be a much more fun way of me doing it instead of just concentrating on one particular piece. Now, of course, if I was on a deadline, wanted to get one particular thing done, I would. But I'm kind of, you know, you you feel like working on something every now and then, like a different thing, and so I want to have the ability to just jump into something else if I'm creatively attached to that moment and want to hit it. So I did do that. I enjoyed that. It was fun. I'm glad I have a kind of a process now how I'm going to do things, and go from there.
Nice. No, that's exciting. So did you find that having the stuff all in the same folder helped, or all in the same file helped?
Yeah.
How come?
Because I just have it broken down. Scrivener has a nice way of just breaking things. You can have multiple folders, and it's basically kind of like a Windows directory, or like a Windows
Okay.
Explorer kind of a feel. And so I just made multiple folders in there that I can just go, oh, okay, this is this story, and then once I go into that folder, it's broken down into chapters or whatever I want it broken down
Okay.
into. So it's really, really pretty nice
That's awesome.
for doing that. And for those of you that want to check out Scrivener, it's pretty cheap. And the best thing about it is if there's it's not sponsored or anything, of course, but if you want to test it out, there's like a 30-day free trial. And it's not a 30-day like normal, like, oh, I started today and 30 days later I have to buy it. No, it's like every time you open it, that's the next day. So
Oh,
it could be all year long if you never do much. So just so you know, it's a pretty good, decent program.
that's cool. Okay. So without goals, I mean, I have a goal. It's like staring me in the face.
Hmm.
I don't know. I think honestly, just with the lack of accountability, there.
Mm.
I'm trying to figure out exactly why I'm not accomplishing what I want to be doing.
Well, when you wake up each day, um, and then most of the days you're going to work, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then after you get off work, have you examined your routine? Do you have it plotted in a specific time to just work?
No.
So are you just kind of on the fly,
Mm-hmm.
you know, each day? Well, you may want to examine your pattern. You may
Yeah.
want to plug in a time to work.
Well, I mean,
Um,
Diablo's been a big part of it too.
and
Cause
so many different groups that you're playing with too.
yeah, I'm playing with you and Ducky. And we're inviting Nick now too. Sometimes.
Hmm. Yeah, I found it's invested more and more with more people. It's like, oh, hard to just say no, hard to do that. Um, but if we were knocking out, uh, a little bit of work each day on the
Yeah.
project, it would feel a lot better to be able to play a game at the end.
It
you know.
would. It would. Yeah, I think that's important to me. I think that's how I want to do it, is having time set aside to work on it, I think will help.
And for me, it doesn't. What I
Well, I
figured
mean,
out is I have to work
ideally,
all day. Otherwise, I don't get nothing done.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping it'll help. I guess is what I mean. But there's always gonna be that trial and error, and we're gonna learn and that type of stuff. So my goals this week are to, and maybe it's because I don't have accomplishable goals.
Mm.
I have very broad goals. It's not like I didn't draw. I did draw this week. A little tiny bit. Actually, I'll show you guys this mage I drew. Or not mage, witch. It's very
Back
blurry.
a little bit. Forward a
Only
little
works
bit.
if I get close.
Oh, okay. Can almost
Yeah.
get out
Some deets.
something. Oh, it's
Anyways.
from like a over the shoulder-ish kind of view.
Yeah.
I think I almost saw what you drew.
If you are curious, I will be putting it in the Patreon as a viewable post that you do not have to be subscribed for.
Oh, boom! Look at that.
And in the Discord.
Excellent. So, I think that if we do a little bit of work each day, that the goals, being actionable or whatnot, are going to not be as important.
Yeah.
Because, if you're setting aside real time,
I'm
each
interested
week.
to try that as a hypothesis.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Yeah, let's do that as a hypothesis. I'm not going to set goals this week. I'm going to not set goals, and we're going to try just setting aside time and working on stuff. And then we'll try that for, I think, a couple weeks and see how that feels. And then I'd like to do the opposite, where I set goals and we work together and see how that feels differently.
Well, I wasn't necessarily saying we should stop goal setting. I was just saying that, they're less important. If you have vaguer goals, but you're working each day, you will inevitably do a decent job and be working towards knocking out those more vague goals. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right. No, that makes sense.
You can still have actionable stuff you want to get done, though, if you feel like you have something.
Maybe if that's the trick, then if you're not able to set aside time, then you need to have it as easy, actionable goals.
Yeah, maybe. I teetered a little bit in my whole. I actually got to the point where I was like, am I ever going to get anything done? I mean, should I just, enjoy life and just, spend every minute I have, loving life and
here's the problem.
do that?
Here's the problem
or not.
That. We can't be satisfied. I can't be satisfied. Like, even if I was to say, fuck it, I'm going to work at Amazon with my $16 an hour, which after tax is $12.50 an hour. And I'm going to work there 40 hours a week plus overtime, depending on what I need, to live in an apartment by myself for, $1,100 a month. And I will live off that and that's all I need, and I don't need anything more for the rest of my life. It's like there's a certain level of frustration, not even frustration, I think depression that I get if I'm not working towards goals. If I'm not like trying to better myself and become a better person, become a better version of myself, which is either like with my health, um, financially, or with a skill, or just somehow bettering myself. I get antsy, I get depressed, I get just blah. And so
No,
it's
I
like
can
I have
relate.
to be pushing forward. So it's like it's just not an option for me to like sit still, even if
I
I
came to
wanted
the
to.
same conclusion. You know, that's why I chose, you know, and I'm going to just get stuff done today. Um, is that I don't want to be working when I'm 73, you
Mm-hmm.
know, for anything except for what I want to be doing, you know, creatively or something.
Right.
And in order for me to do that, I have to set these things in motion right now. And
Mm-hmm.
so it means I need to make a little bit of sacrifice and learn how to work the way that works for me.
Yep.
And the way that works for me is more like um, restricting play to corners and plugging in gigantic windows of work. That's the only way it works for me.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I will, once I let the door open to a little bit of play, it turns into the week of play.
Right.
That's it. Because I will find the goals to do in the game,
Mm-hmm.
and those become my goals.
Right. They become your achievements.
Yeah. So I have to push them in corners and remember I have a life that needs to be built upon, you know, there's lasting results and not just personal results. You know, in games, nobody really, what are you going to do? You can talk to other game players and you can tell them, oh, I did this. And if they understand the game, they may clap their hands at you and go, wow, you're badass at that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. It doesn't carry over into the real world,
No,
you
I
know?
mean it's rough. It's like it's an escape, and it's like it should be treated as a reward and not your. I think that's how we should treat it. It's just like a reward for accomplishing actual stuff.
I need to let my cat in. Be right back.
Okay. I don't know. That's how I'm starting to see video games more and more. It's just like you've done your job, and you've done what you needed to do. You can relax with video games, and that's just a byproduct, I think, of the world that we live in, not necessarily, or at least the world that I live in, because I think people live in different worlds, not in like the extraterrestrial sense, but maybe. But specifically, I'm talking about like your environment and like what it means for you, because like what video games mean to me is completely different what video games mean to other people, and their perception of their world and like what they get out of video games can be a reflection of that. I went I went uh like way out there. I was mentioning that because video games are a I'm seeing them more and more as a reward because of the world that we live in, where we have to work and make money in order like to like live, to continue living. Where someone who might be in a different world, and by that I mean just in a different environment, like if you're a kid, video games are a different thing because you don't have to work to live, theoretically.
Right.
At least in some places. Whereas like for us, we have to basically, video games have to be a reward because they don't transfer into something else. Or like someone who like is in a terrible situation, like a terrible environment, video games are an escape. And maybe that's what video games are for us too. Is like, since we have to work to live, like they're an escape to somewhere fun.
Yeah. They're an addiction for me. I probably have an addictive nature. And weaning myself off of video games is the only way to do that is through the longer lasting rewards of productivity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've seen last little bit. It's nice seeing the change in stuff that I've done.
Yeah, like the permanent reality
change.
changing.
Yeah, just totally nice, in that regard. I think that's what can do it for me. Permanent, longer lasting results in reality.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So is there anything you want to discuss before we end this episode? My goals this week are to finish page 2. By finish, I mean mostly start and finish page 2. And I do want to... I'm going to make some more goals here because I do want some goals. Draw other stuff. So keep it vague. Because I don't want to accomplish it. I want it to be accomplishable very easily. And I want to be able to... So if I do choose draw other stuff, something that's coming to mind is I want to work on individual body parts and become more practiced in drawing those. And so I don't want to do specific body parts because I don't know exactly which ones I want to. But if I say draw other stuff, it leaves it vague and I can do what I want in the moment.
I think you should make a note about actually putting our attempt here on there as a goal itself. Doing our hour a day or whatnot. That's a big one. Just even completing the majority of those days is an accomplishment.
I added meeting with James.
Okay.
We have a business meeting.
And but other than that, I think this can be a turning point. Sorry for all my yawns. I thought I got pretty good sleep.
I got 8 hours of sleep, and that is the most I've had in a very long time. So I'm very happy with it.
But I think that it could be a turning point because we could theoretically get
a lot more stuff done.
Yeah, a lot of weeks worth of
it'll
motion.
It'll start a like that snowball rolling again, that momentum, which just leads to more momentum.
Yep.
Diablo really put a wrench into it, but man, it's such a good game. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it too. Well then, I think this is is a good stopping point. And thank you for listening. And hopefully you got something out of our struggles and and all that.
So to close this out, I have a little quip, or maybe the title. This will probably be the title of the episode. If it's not, James said no. Uh, the title of the episode may be "Don't Let Demons Get in the Way of Your Goals." He's laughing. You can't hear him, but he's laughing.
I'm down with it. Go for it.
Okay, awesome. All right. Well, then, thank you guys for listening. We will be back next week. And if you are listening to the podcast, you are just as now current with the YouTube. So, hop-de-doo.
Wow. Look at that.
All right. You want to close? You have anything to say before we close this out?
Get some stuff done, people. You can do it.